new city, new locals, new meta. The meta, after only traveling 6 hours, is completely different here than back home. Winnipeg is very much control decks, and here I played a lot more combo-based decks. Still some control, obviously, but definitely more combo decks are represented. No Altergeist being played here. No Trap Tricks. Sorry, Jesse. No, I don't know, just a totally different meta. It was super weird.
That's both. Oh, just three of choice.
Game 1, I played Crusadia. First time I've ever played them, beat them fairly easily. And on that note, if you know you're going to enter the tournament, make sure you're there on time so your opponent isn't waiting around for you and you know you have to set up and you waste all this time sitting there sleeving your cards. You know, be basically ready. But I didn't have no really cool plays to go over in that one. Game 2, Gravekeepers. Lost the die roll, thought I was in big trouble, and won both games. Through multiple disruptions and Super Poly, won both games, going second. Game 1, he had to use Super Poly early, and I was still able to build a big enough board to get through his stuff and take the win. And he just had nothing left on the next turn. Then game 2, he's much better set up. And I see that he is, so I activate Servant of Endymion in the scale. And then I just keep activating spell cards and putting the 6 counters needed to activate Endymion's effect and just use that, the Thanos snap, bang, cuts through his stuff. And he can't super poly me, and I just leave the Endymion alone on the field with a purple poison in one scale and a time gazer in the other, so he can't activate battle traps at all in response to my Endymion's attacks. And because he has counters, he's immune to, he can't be targeted, and he's unaffected by card effects. So it was just beat down, one monster beat down. Game 3 was really fun. It was Thunder Dragons. First game I was able to set up so many negates that he was unable to play. I think I had six negates on board and a bounce and a banish. And there's just 5 negates, a bounce and a banish on board. And there's just nothing he could do, so he just forfeited, immediately scooped. So here's what's funny. I side in Super Poly, and as he's playing, he says, oh, I fucked up. And he doesn't end on a Colossus and a Titan. He just has the one that stops me from searching. I think it's Colossus. So because I couldn't Super Poly his Colossus with the hand that I had, which is all searching and adding things to my hand, I wasn't able to do anything. So his mistake won him the game. Then in the third round of the match, we had very little time, so I just tried to play as fast as possible and didn't even combo fully off. I kind of cut myself off, and I'll explain. So when I had LP and Triple Burst Dragon, normally I would go into Absurrouter Dragon, which would start the Absolute Dragon combo, get Vortex, get Borreload Savage, and all that stuff. But instead, I just took the guaranteed route. I had sided in Lechery and Arrow Mage Goliath, and I had added Lechery off the Electromite. I summoned the Goliath off of LP, and then put Lechery in the scale, and it won me the round. I passed turn, and there was nothing he could do. He opened with, I think, 4 spells, and then the 2 monsters that he had weren't going to do anything, and the 2 spells were Dark Ruler, no more. I knew it, and it paid off. And then game 4 was very, very boring. It was a True Dare Go Sky Striker match, so he won the die roll and played Engage 6 million times in his turn. And then I just wasn't able to do anything. Anytime I went to do something, Ash. Anytime I went to do something else, anchor. Anytime I went to do something else, this. Anytime I went to do something else, that. And it was just awful. Game 2, a little bit more back and forth. And game 3, I knew it was going to be more of the same, and it was more of the same. I wasn't able to set up, and unfortunately, my win condition was getting Big Boy Endymion on the field and just putting him in front of the Sky Strikers because there's not much they can do to it. But he was always able to prevent that. So yeah, he ended up winning, and it was a 3-way tie for first place, as I guess 3 people went 3-1. So yeah, so technically tied for first place. So yeah, new meta, new city, and I busted out some really fun combos on people that they just didn't see coming. I ended up using Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, and every time I've used that card, people have had to read it because they're not used to seeing it. But one thing I'll like to do is I become aware that they have super polymerization, and then I will put either Big Boy Endymion on the field or the Jackal King on the field, and then immediately, without going into Electromite or anything like that, go into the combo that brings me to Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. And because he's a wind and Big Boy Endymion is a dark, there's like no targets because they're different types as well. And from there, I was able to easily just beat down and win games that way. So I'll show that combo at the end of this video. Okay, so I'm going to show you the basic combo to summon Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon in this deck, and this exact sequence, this exact hand, won me the game. Servant of Endymion, activating Spell Power Mastery, puts 2 counters on Servant. Add Big Boy Endymion. Duelist Alliance, puts the 3rd counter on. Pendulum Call. Resolve the Servant of Endymion's effect. Now I know that my opponent isn't playing Nibiru most likely, but just in case, I summon the Jackal King. From there, activate Pendant Call, sending Destrudo, adding these 2 Magicians. As long as it's harmonizing, it doesn't matter what the other one is. Bam, up to 3. So now I can't be Nibiru during the combo. Activate the Chronograph Sorcerer, jumps to 5. Chronograph Sorcerer's effect. Now there's a few moments where I am vulnerable to being super polyed, but they're not going to activate it at points like this because they don't know what's in my hand and whether or not I'd be able to recover, so if they're just wasting it. Then I normal summon. Now my opponent immediately thinks I'm going into Electromite, which is a totally reasonable assumption. But I'm not. I go into FA Dawn Dragster. This is just to prevent, at this point, I'm fairly safe from the super poly. They might do it, but I'm able to recover. So he's immediately confused as to what I'm doing. I then summon the Destrudo, targeting the Jackal King, making him level 1, and then synchro summoning again, sending this card to the bottom of my deck, that card to the graveyard, brings out Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. And every single opponent I played against had to read this card, because I guess they're just not used to seeing it anymore. Yeah, but it's not that he can counter Super Poly, it's that because he's a wind monster, he's a lot more difficult to target with it as there's fewer examples. In this right here, I'm completely safe from Super Poly, 99.9% of the time. And then if this was Big Boy Endymion or what have you, it's just another counter. And in this case, I would play the Big Boy Endymion, putting him over 6 counters. Then I would activate his effect and would bring out Big Boy Endymion, popping up to 3 cards in my opponent's back row. Now that effect would happen, it would have to resolve before he's allowed to activate Super Polarization. And if he was to do so, he could target these 2 monsters and take them. And when the effect activates, my opponent's Starving Venom Fusion Dragon or whatever it is, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon will negate the effect, destroy it, and take that attack points and put it on itself. Or Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon can just beat over it. No matter what they summon, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon can beat over their monster. Because he is basically an honest for himself on top of his negation effect. He's just disgusting, and I found so much utility for him in this particular format, and you can go into that sequence in the main combo while setting up 4 to 5 other negates. Yeah, and that won me games today.